Okay, so thanks everyone for joining us. I'm Dr. Laura Crommelin. I'm a senior lecturer in the City Planning program at UNSW, and I'm also a fellow at the City Futures Research Centre. And I'm delighted to be joined today by Karen Stiles, who is the Executive Officer of the Owners Corporation Network of Australia, and by Chris Duggan, who is the President of the Strata Community Association of New South Wales. And the reason we're all here today is to discuss our new research report called Cracks in the Compact City, which looks at how common building defects are in apartment buildings in Sydney and what we can do to reduce the number of defects and also the impact that they have on owners, residents and the strata industry. Karen and Chris are absolutely the experts in this area, so I'm thrilled to have them here and have a chance to ask you a couple of questions about what you think the significance of the report is and what the government's next priorities need to be in this area. So Karen, if I can start with you, you've worked with lots of owners in the past who've had issues with defects. And given your experience, I was wondering if you were surprised at all by the findings in the report that defects are commonplace, and particularly that water leaks are right up the top of the list in terms of the problems that people encounter.
No, not at all, Laura. We've long known that easily avoidable major defects abound in residential apartment buildings. In fact, defects were part of the reason the Owners Corporation Network was established in 2002. And we've known from members that water leaks and fire safety defects were the two frequent flyers. Both are notoriously difficult and expensive to resolve after the fact. To give you an example, it might cost $300 to properly waterproof a bathroom, but it might cost $10,000 or more to fix a bathroom that leaks.
Yeah, absolutely. It really speaks to the importance of getting things done right the first time. Chris, let's turn to you for a second. So as well as our research that's come out this week, SCA and the New South Wales Building Commissioner has also released a report looking at building defects and similarly identified that defects are found in a significant proportion of new buildings. So I was just wondering what you think the effect of this series of reports is and whether this is kind of a turning point maybe for how industry and government think about this problem and think about what we need to do to tackle it going forward.
Thanks, Laura. Well, the big missing piece in understanding defects has been data to support what's been well understood. And Karen and the other stakeholders out there have well understood the impact of defects, but now we've actually got the data to support good policy and better decision making. So what we found is the lack of level of understanding has always been there, but we've now got supporting data through this survey that the SCA and Building Commissioner conducted last week, and also your report, Laura, to better inform both strata managers, the broader engaged industry and others as to how we can address this. And I think it's a good thing for consumers that we've got better decision making to inform better policy, particularly to support the government's agenda at the moment.
Yeah, great. I think that issue around data and how hard it's been to get data is a really important finding of our research. And I guess what flows on from that, Karen, is that our research shows how hard it is for owners or people looking to buy to actually find out what's going on in a building and get good information and do their research. So I was just wondering what your thoughts were about what the government can do to help improve the situation for people looking to buy in apartments, and also at the same time to make sure people, existing owners in apartments, aren't disadvantaged in the process.
Well, the government needs to expedite the star rating system, which is being developed currently. We've seen fridge, washing machine and car safety star ratings drive better consumer purchase choices. When it's obvious that one product will save more water or more electricity or your family's life, you're going to choose that product over another. Without that knowledge, consumers will often make a choice based solely on price. For the owners in existing buildings, it is really tough, but the Building Commissioner has been beefing up the capacity and the expertise of the fair trading enforcement teams and is on a mission to get people to report those defects so that the regulator can assist with having them rectified, rather than owners being dragged through years of expensive and emotionally challenging litigation.
Yeah, I know it's been a very tough road for those who've gone down that legal route, and it would be great to see the government really stepping into that role of supporting owners with dealing with the issues a lot more proactively in future. Chris, we have obviously seen a lot of activity over the last couple of years with the introduction of the Building Commissioner's Office and new legislation. We do know, though, that there'll be buildings that will be grappling with defects for some time to come. What needs to be done? Karen's talked a little bit about what we can do to try and help owners in that situation, but what about the strata industry professionals that work with owners, strata managers in particular? What sort of support and help do they need?
Well, we've got to make sure that we use this complementary data set to identify those areas of focus. And I think this report dovetails into the reform agenda of the Office of Building Commissioner and David Chandler, and has identified where those gaps are for the focus to be. And it's very pleasing to see that those gaps are already areas of reform where there is a particular focus around the quality of buildings, around enforcement, around beefing up fair trading, around educating owners, around lifting standards for strata management, and making sure that the collective effort in this is not missed, and that we can ensure that we deliver better buildings tomorrow. In saying that, the current agenda of the Office of Building Commissioner is very much to ensure that the consumer is put first in all of this. And I think that's a wonderful way of viewing the way we should solve this problem. What's going to be in the consumer's best interest, and how can we as industry support the government in that reform agenda?
Lots to do, but I think having the data there is going to help to make sure we do it the right way, and having folks like the two of you driving this agenda as well, we're in good hands. So thank you so much for your time today, and thank you also for the support that your organisations, OCN and SCA New South Wales, have provided for this research. I'd also just like to thank the other project partners, Strata Community Insurance, Australian College of Strata Lawyers, Lanix Strata Finance, and Ross Taylor and Associates. For anyone looking to read the report, we'll put the web link up on the bottom of this video, and also on that site you can find a how-to guide for owners if you're grappling with defects at the moment. Give you some advice on where to start and who to talk to. Thanks again, Karen and Chris, and we'll look forward to continuing to address these issues in the future.